What is up, YouTube and vinyl community? Here I am yet again, back with some more records yet again. How it always is, you know. Hope it's been a good weekend for everybody. Hope it was relaxing and whichever way, whether you found some records, you played some records, or you just hung out. Whatever relaxes you guys. I hope you guys did it. That's what weekends are about, you know. For me, one of the big ways I like to relax is finding records and listening to records. Big surprise. Um, and this weekend was no exception for finding them. I pulled out a very, very large stack of diverse records. We've got rock, funk, jazz, um, reggae, country, blues. We'll go through it all. This is the stack that we're working with today. We'll get through it. I'm going to try and run through most of them, and then at the end, we'll talk about the Grail that I got, and another pretty big one that I got that I didn't expect to find. That's super clean. I mean, they're both pretty clean. But wearing my Plastilite shirt today from Bob Bradley. If you don't know Bob, check out his channel. I love this shirt. You know, I'm a big nerd about these things, and Plastilite is about as nerdy as it gets. If you don't know, Plastilite pressed the Blue Note records from the 50s sometime to about 66, 67 when Liberty bought them. If you find a Blue Note record that has this looking thing right here, some people call it an ear, or some people call it, it's supposed to be a P for Plastilite. If you find that and it's a little scratched up, it's got scratches on it, buy it. It'll play great for you. I've got Plastilite pressings that have seen better days, and they still play awesome. It's my little tidbit for the day. But anyways, let's get into this stack, and then we'll get to the big ones at the end. Anyways, first 45. Well, I shouldn't say first because it's the only 45 that I bought. Night Train with Reckless Life by Guns N' Roses. Don't have any Guns N' Roses right now. It's just $3. Decided to pick it up. You know, have a little bit of GNR in the collection. I've had some before. Don't have any right now. Next up was also $3, and it's by one of the most badass bands there ever was, and that is Rush with Hemispheres on the custom labels. Such a badass band, such a badass record. The Trees is my favorite song, and then after that you got La Via Strangiato, I think that's how you say it. And if Rush is so cool, man. They're such a good band. If you don't like Rush, I don't know if I can trust you as a person. Sorry. But another hot take is that I think Neil Peart is the best rock drummer of all time. Obviously, I love John Bonham, but Neil's the man. Rest in peace, Neil. So sad. Next is by a band you don't really see that often. And it's because the lead singer and the leader of this band does not really like these records that he did with this band. And that is the Bob Seger System with Mongrel. Original Capitol Press, green and purple. Now, Bob Seger System is a great band. Don't really care for his solo stuff, but Seger System is awesome. Really chugging, wailing blues rock on here. This one's a little bit easier to find than some of the other releases by them. I know his album Noah is quite difficult to find. A first press of Ramblin' Gamblin' Man is kind of tough to find and quite sought after. Those both are. But apparently he hates those records. I don't know why. They're pretty damn good records. But whatever. Anyways, moving on. This one is a 12-inch single, and this one is a little bit contentious online. It is a 12-inch single from the Decade album by Neil Young and Crazy Horse, partially. Decade album, you know, being the triple album spanning his career up until that point. And nobody can seem to agree if this is a bootleg or an actual promotional 12-inch that came out. You've got Cowgirl in the Sand on this side and Southern Man on the other side. But the cool thing about this one is it is this translucent vinyl, orange vinyl. And yeah, I don't really care if it's a bootleg or if it's a promotional thing. I think it's freaking cool. It was a good price. Sounds great. So if it is a bootleg, it's a damn good bootleg. We'll say that. So if you see one, I would recommend picking it up if you like these kinds of weird things. Okay, moving on to genre change here. We've got the only country record I bought, that being Lonesome, Ornery, and Mean by Waylon Jennings. Now, this is a later press on this black RCA Victor label, the original being on the orange Dynaflex label. I did have an original of this, but that copy was not, it was okay. This one's super clean. So decided to, get the later pressing to have a cleaner pressing. And I actually traded the other one for the Grail at the end, so we'll get to that. But amazing album. It's really hard for me to choose between this and Honky Tonk Heroes as my favorite, because this one is also amazing. The title track, Lonesome, Ornery, and Mean, is such a badass song. That song pumps me up quite a bit. Love Waylon. Any of that early to mid 70s Waylon stuff I'll pick up all day. Next is one I'm not super familiar with, but I am familiar with one of the players on this record. We're moving on to jazz. And we've got Joe's Blues by Johnny Hodges and Wild Bill Davis. Original mono on Verve. Now, this has a certain Grant Green on it. So obviously I'm familiar with Grant Green. I'm not too familiar with Johnny Hodges or Wild Bill Davis. And I actually have not played this yet. I listened to a little bit of it, streamed it, and it's pretty good. So I, picked it up. Very cheap. Next one is quite funny. I found this in a bargain bin, and you would think this is Jewels of Thought by Pharoah Sanders, but it is actually one of the records from the Best of Pharoah Sanders in the Jewels of Thought jacket. This was like $5. Now, the Best of Pharoah Sanders is a double album, so this is only one of the records. But it was super clean, and I was like, $5 for some clean Pharoah Sanders? Why not? I do actually want Jewels of Thought, though. I like that album quite a bit. So, oh well. $5, I'm not upset about it. Moving on to a funkier realm, rather than a free one. This is David T. Walker by David T. Walker on Ode Records. I actually have been looking for this record. It's not super rare, but it just doesn't pop up that often. I bought this and just looked at the grooves real quick. It was clean. $10 out the door. And so I bought it, and then I got it home, and I was putting stuff in my Discogs, and I noticed that this is actually a promo copy. Not a white label, because the Ode label is already white, so I wouldn't call it a white label promo. But anyways, very funky, jazzy guitar playing on here. Really great. Does a cover of What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. It's a great cover. Really fun record. I'm not a fan of the entire thing, but I am a fan of most of it. So I thought I'd pick it up. And the last jazz record that I got is one I have wanted for quite a while, because it is an amazing record. One of the definitions of pretty cheap heat, in my opinion, and that is Backlash by Freddy Hubbard. This is an original mono pressing on Red and Plum. And let's admire how clean this is. Like, good God. And then one of my favorite parts about this is this lime green inner gatefold. Really, really cool record. I say that it's pretty cheap heat because if you get a clean one, I can't get that back in. If you get a clean one, it can run you about 20 to 40 bucks. So not the cheapest record, but if you want a really good jazz record that's pretty inexpensive, that is a phenomenal choice. The opening track, Backlash, is my favorite. It's just so energetic and fun. The Return of the Prodigal Son is awesome. Little Sunflower, which is one of Freddie's most famous songs, is on here. Echoes of Blue is the very last track on here. It is a little bit more on the free side. The rest of this is very soulful and hard boppy. But man, it's a really fun record. If you like jazz and you don't know this one, this is his first on Atlantic. Highly recommend checking this one out. Backlash is an awesome album. And I think it's a must if you like jazz. Moving genres, yet again. This is the only one I got for reggae, and that is Burnin' by the Wailers. Now this is on Tough Gong, which means it's a Jamaican pressing. It's not a first Jamaican pressing. The first pressing has an all red label, and it's got some sort of musician on it. I can't remember what they're playing. But nonetheless, still Jamaican pressing, still very cool. I think Jamaican pressings are cool. I think they're badass. I know that they're not known for their fidelity, but what are you going to do? I think it's cool, so I'm going to pick it up. And it's pretty clean. It plays pretty well, in my opinion. Uh, you know, you got songs like Stand Up, Get Up, Get Up, Stand Up, sorry. It's an awesome protest song. It's just also an awesome song in general. You've got I Shot the Sheriff on here, which is one of the Bob Marley songs like every person knows. And overall, a really great album. Not my favorite by them. I think my favorite is probably Natty Dread. Still don't have a copy though. Don't see it come around that often either, which sucks. Okay, another genre change. We have got Mr. Bill Withers with Just As I Am, his first record on Sussex. This is getting to be a tougher record to find these days and find clean. I found this for a Smokin deal. I got this for $15 and it is clean. I mean, there's a little bit of edge wear, but like, it's a clean record. And also an amazing record. You know, it's got his most famous song on here. Well, one of his most famous songs, Ain't No Sunshine. It's a phenomenal song. Plays great on here. I know he covers the Beatles on here. Just, what a great record. Produced by Booker T. Jones from Booker T and the MGs. You've got Stephen Stills playing guitar on here. How can you go wrong with that? That's a great record. And my first Bill Withers record, because his stuff is just not that easy to find anymore. Okie dokie. Now we're on to some blues. I don't talk about blues a lot on here. I am a huge blues guy. I love blues music. I just don't find a lot of blues that I like. Therefore, I don't talk about a lot of blues that I like. Because blues is harder to find than jazz, in my opinion. Good blues. You just don't see it come around that often by almost anybody. If you do, that's awesome. Where I'm at, you never see it really. And so to pick up a few really great blues records, I was so stoked about that. First being John Lee Hooker, live at Soledad Prison. This was on my want list as well, but this is actually a Canadian pressing on ABC Dunhill. It's actually Dynaflex too, so interesting. This was in the shrink in the bargain bins, the same bins as the Pharoah Sanders actually. So I took the shrink off because this is a textured cover, and look at that thing. Whew! It's awesome. This is a great record. This actually has the sun opening up with two songs. Two Scorchin' Blues songs, by the way. And then, you know, John Lee Sr. comes in just with that amazing voice of his. That real deep, gruff, bluesy voice. It's a great record. If you don't know that one, check it out. I know he's got a very large catalog, as do a lot of bluesmen. So that one is a really good one if you don't know it. And a fairly cheap one if you want something good. The next two are on a label that I never see. And to find two of them on the same day, for a good deal too, was pretty awesome. That being Prestige Bluesville. This is Big Joe Williams. We can't talk, I'm sorry. Big Joe Williams with Studio Blues on Prestige Bluesville. This is an original mono pressing. And I was not that familiar with this record before. However, Willie Dixon plays bass on this record. Now, if you know blues, Willie Dixon wrote most of the chess material. So he's a genius. So I saw Willie Dixon on there. Not too familiar with Big Joe Williams, but it's also Prestige Bluesville. And got it home, cleaned it, put it on. It's a killer record. Was reading the back of the jacket, and Big Joe Williams is an interesting dude. He modified his guitar to have 9 strings. Insane. I mean, this man is playing a 9-string guitar back in the 40s. Awesome. Great voice as well. Really killer album overall. I think the best songs for me, Ain't Gonna Rain No More is good. Gamblin' Man is good. Sugar Babe is good. I don't know. Just the whole thing's pretty damn good, to be quite honest with you. Really great record. Very stoked to add that. And the next is by my favorite bluesman. He is absolutely my favorite bluesman, and I never see stuff like this by him ever. And that is Mr. Paul Lightning Hopkins with Blues in My Bottle. This is a second mono pressing on that Blue Trident label. But man, oh man, is it clean. And thank God, because it's just Lightning and an acoustic guitar, so you know it's going to be a little bit quiet, but this sucker is clean. I mean, look, I'll even show you. Let's see if we can see that. Woo! So clean. So I just kind of walked into this one. Like I said, got it the same day as the Big Joe Williams. The shop owner just kind of was like, check this out. And I was like, I'll take that. Even though it's not a first pressing, but man, I don't ever see this kind of stuff. So I had to have it. I love Lightning Hopkins. I love his style. Really love his guitar playing too. He's a phenomenal guitar player who I don't think that really gets talked about enough, you know, because he's got a very peculiar way of singing, but his guitar playing is awesome. Moving on, the last three that we got up. All three pretty big hitters. One of them, next one, you guys might know, you might not know. But this is a Lucille Has Messed My Mind Up by Jeff Simmons. This is on Straight Records, you know, Zappa's label that had Alice Cooper, Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart. And Jeff Simmons was actually in Zappa's band for quite a while. Well, I was going to say quite a while. He's in it for like a year. He was playing bass most of the time, but also played guitars and did some vocals. And then he went on to record a movie soundtrack. I can't remember the name of it. And then he recorded this. This is a great blues rock, semi-psychedelic record. You've got Zappa on here on a couple songs playing lead guitar. Yeah, this is a killer record. I actually had been looking for this for a little while. I discovered it in a record store, and they wanted a little bit too much money that I wasn't willing to put down because I didn't know it that well. And then I saw this in a shop over the weekend, and this was like 40 bucks. And I was like, I will take that. It had some marks, but I figured, you know, 40 bucks, take a chance, bring it home, clean it, plays great. Couldn't be happier with it. But moving on to the last two. These are two didn't expect to get this weekend, had no intentions of getting them this weekend, but I did because I have wanted these two records for a very, very long time. The first one is Link Ray by Link Ray on Polydor. It's a US pressing, and it is clean. I mean, it is super, super clean. Look at that. It's just shiny. So shiny. This is an amazing record. If you don't know this record, it's a phenomenal mix of blues, country, folk, into something very unique. You know, this is a very big departure for Link Ray in his career. This is 1971. Recorded this in just a little chicken shack in Maryland that was on his farm property. And good God, has this record aged so well. So much better than a lot of the country rock that, you know, came out of that era. It's such a good record. I mean, my favorite songs on this record, I love Fire and Brimstone. That's another badass track. Ice People's really good. Crowbar's really good. Black River Swamp, Fallen Rain, La Di Da. Just the whole thing is so good. It's a great record. And another cool thing is that I don't normally like Unipack designs, but this one is super cool. So cool. Yeah, just I went into a shop, was looking through they have like a rare section. And it looked like someone had maybe stashed this one away. It was like in between some boxes, and I picked it up and I snagged it. It's a great, great record. And the last one. which is a big grail for me. I got this on a trade. I traded straight for this. I traded a few good things, but things I don't really listen to anymore. Or I, had upgraded copies or something along those lines. This is my favorite record by this group, and it was only released in the UK, so it's quite tough to get in the States. But I saw that the shop had posted this on their Instagram, and I sent them a message, and I was like, first off, is that original? They said, yes, it is. It is an original UK mono pressing. And then I was like, you guys take trades, right? And they were like, yep. And so I went and traded some stuff in and got the whole thing paid for. And that is Mr. Wonderful by Fleetwood Mac. Original UK mono pressing on Blue Horizon. I absolutely adore this record. It is just so good. Peter Green's playing on this record. It's not the most like shredding thing of all time, but his licks are just so tasteful, and like his tone is so haunting, and it's so good. It's a very, there are some more energetic blues jams on here, but like the songs like Love That Burns and Trying to Forget, just like these really killer dramatic slow burns are just so killer. And this one is just also clean. I mean, like I said, it has been a great weekend. I had a chance to get one of these before. No, I shouldn't say I had the chance. I saw one and I didn't have the money for it at the time. And I couldn't be more happy. I'll show you guys the gatefold because it is pretty funny. You got Mick Fleetwood being a goofball, covering his junk up. And then this is the inside. Yeah, super stoked about this. Mr. Wonderful is just an amazing record. If you like, slow burn blues, this is it for you. I hesitate to say blues rock on that one because it is mostly just straight up blues, electric blues. But yeah, like I said, it's been a great weekend. The vinyl gods have smiled upon me. I hope everybody has a good week. I hope your weeks go by fast. Hopefully you pick up some good things. And yeah, I hope everybody, takes care, takes it easy. And during these crazy times, stays positive and stays happy. Take it easy, everybody.